I'm freaked out by the ocean. The ocean is the perfect amalgamation of fear of the unknown. I'm afraid because I don't know how deep the water is. I'm afraid because I can't see as far as I'd like, or I can't see the ground beneath me. I'm afraid because I don't want to drown. I'm afraid because I can't move fast in the water. I'm afraid because creatures in the sea are drastically different than those on the land. But I'm most afraid because in my mind, I'm being watched by something with really big teeth just outside of my vision, waiting for its chance to attack me. Welcome back, everyone. Atratzu here, and I don't know about you, but my 2025 started off with a bang. I've had Subnautica on my wish list for years, and the game has come up in several conversations with friends. Last Christmas, my buddy Golder decided to gift me Subnautica, and casually suggested I could stream it. Thus, I restarted streaming on Twitch, and even got affiliate status in the first month. Lots of highlights from Subnautica streams have been posted on Atratzu, etc., an experimental channel only a small fraction of my subscribers know about. Subnautica is an open-world, action-adventure survival game developed by Unknown Worlds Entertainment and released in 2018, where you play as a survivor of a spaceship crashed on an unknown oceanic world. You'll need to hunt, purify water, gather resources, craft tools, build shelters, and eventually, hopefully, find a way off-world. Here's the kicker. Subnautica has made me face my fears repeatedly. My short description for playing Subnautica is whenever I enter in a new area,
scary, new things, I'm afraid.
Then I get used to the new area and realize the creatures aren't as scary and surreal as I thought. Sometimes I even start to like them. But then I travel to a new biome and we're right back at square one with,
scary, new thing, I'm afraid.
In a strange way, my fear to understanding cycle has galvanized Subnautica as one of my favorite video games I've ever played. When I think back on my time playing Subnautica, I can't help but think of a comparison from when I first played Half-Life 2, running out of ammo on all my weapons and getting lost in Ravenholm. Remembering how that intense, fearful experience helped make the game completely unforgettable for me. I'm not a fear or an adrenaline junkie. I generally avoid horror games and movies because I don't care for jump scares. Just yelling boo and flashing a scary picture in front of me isn't fun. It's annoying and stupid. Go away, leave me alone. When I started streaming Subnautica, I was assured Subnautica wasn't a horror game, although it does have a horror tag on Steam. You will likely get scared from time to time playing the game. I sure was. See my previous statement. Every new place, every new thing frightened me until I learned more about it and how to deal with it. But Subnautica is not a horror game, or even a very scary game, or at least not in a typical way that horror games would be. It's a very special type of fear. It's fear of the unknown. Once you know all the creatures in Subnautica, there'll be nothing to be scared of anymore. Well, obviously, don't swim where you know you're going to get eaten, but once you learn where not to swim without a vehicle to protect you, it's not scary anymore. While streaming, I quoted Kevin McAllister from Home Alone yelling,
I'm not afraid anymore.
But then I'd go to a new place and be uncomfortable and scared until I spent more time there and learned who bites and who was just pretty ambience. There's lots of small, loose threads when you start playing Subnautica. Where are we? What are these creatures? Why did we crash in the first place? Did anyone else survive? Slowly but intentionally, these questions will be answered as you play the game. Some answers will come from scanning plants, animals, and equipment, and other answers will come in the form of recovered audio logs. Then, some new questions will arise from radio messages and visiting new areas. I refuse to say anything definitive about Subnautica's story because the less you know, the better. Personally, I found the payoff towards the end of the game completely and totally satisfying, and moreover, I'm rather proud of myself getting through this game. There's a bit of an odd dynamic to this review because I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch. Thankfully, everyone who joined the stream was on board to let me make my own mistakes, experiment, and learn. I know it's tough holding back from saying, "Oh, what you're looking for is right over there," but no backseat gaming or spoilers happened. Or at least not unless I asked for suggestions on where to go next. At one point in the story, there was a time-related event, one of the only time-related events, and I decided to show up right on time rather than showing up early and exploring. This led to a different experience I had, where my friend hadn't. I watched the events unfold and then investigated why it happened, whereas my friend had shown up early, investigated, and knew what was about to happen. I'm trying to stay cryptic on purpose. My point is there's some freedom to explore and experience the Subnautica story. Even after I finish the game, I still find stuff I missed returning to old areas. Subnautica has some familiar gameplay mechanics. You can choose between survival, freedom, hardcore, and creative mode. Survival mode is the standard gameplay experience where you juggle hunger, thirst, health, and oxygen levels. Freedom mode is like survival but no need for food or water. Hardcore is survival mode, but when you die it's for keeps. And lastly, creative mode, where you have unlimited power. Having all the blueprints, build your ultimate base, you know the drill. It was fun to play creative mode, but I would highly encourage you to experience the game first in survival mode so you don't spoil any of the game in creative mode. Then go back with creative mode to experiment or get inspiration for stuff you can build if you want to replay Subnautica. When you're first dropped into the world, you gather animals and resources for food, water, and to craft equipment to further progress deeper underwater to retrieve new materials for still newer equipment and technology. One of the indicators of your progress was when you stopped finding new blueprints and don't see any new materials you haven't encountered yet for crafting stuff. The base building was pretty standard. Select an area with a ghost silhouette shape of a tube or room you're trying to build, and press and hold build to watch it automatically convert inventory materials to rooms, tubes, and furniture. You need to have more structural integrity to build a bigger base. You can increase structural integrity by building more base structures or reinforcing the inside with various building upgrades. Another important detail, along with base building, is inventory and storage management. Subnautica runs into the same problem as Minecraft and Terraria, where you find yourself wading through rooms full of chests and lockers, trying to find where the stuff you need is stored. The best advice I can give you is remember that you can label wall lockers, and you can even set the color of the text on the wall locker. But you can come up with your own system for where you put the storage. There was a bit of a learning curve for Subnautica. The default key bindings were a bit problematic for me. I regularly cursed when I would tap escape on my keyboard when trying to close out of a chest or locker, only to have the game pop up the main menu on top of the screen. And sometimes I clicked incorrectly when I'm trying to interact with a button or a chest, usually resulting in me acting out my inner aggressions and hitting the object with my knife. I had to rebind my interact key to E because I'm set in my old man ways, but otherwise your basic controls were still there. Movement with WASD, WASD, interact, equip and unequip items with the number keys. You eventually get used to the controls on keyboard, but you could play with the controller controls instead, which might be more natural, but I personally like keyboard and mouse controls when I have the option. Another learning curve was repairing vehicles. I had a sad day pushing my Seamoth deeper than it could handle, and it just fell apart on me. I had to craft a whole new one. I didn't realize that you use your repair tool to fix stuff too. I thought I was only fixing the escape pod for the first hour of learning the game. Nope, hang on to that thing. You're gonna use it to fix everything in Subnautica. While playing, I learned how to use my tools more effectively, which is only natural, but there are different ways you can play the game, and I came up with some methods my friend hadn't. If I replayed Subnautica now with my experience, I'd lose the exploration aspect, and instead it would just become an open world survival sandbox. The exploration element added to the mix is what made Subnautica a truly unique experience for me though, and why I'm trying to carefully select what to talk about and what to show with gameplay footage in this review. Again, the less you know, the less you spoil for yourself about Subnautica, the better the experience will be. It's worth noting a few extra features Subnautica has. I'm always a fan of having more options to play a game. With SteamDeck compatibility, you can go play Subnautica while you're traveling.
Yup, that's a good feature right there.
Also, Subnautica can be played in VR. I don't have a VR headset, but I can imagine this game would be spectacular to play in VR. If you had the setup to play VR and want to have nightmares, go ahead and have your first playthrough in VR. Those of you who have played Subnautica, can you imagine your first encounters up close and personal in VR? That would have been way too much for me in my first playthrough. I think after playing the game, replaying it in VR would be a really beautiful experience. Speaking of a really beautiful experience, as usual, I forgot to mention just how great the music and world looks in Subnautica. Each biome is beautiful, the soundtrack is a banger, every song is excellent. One of the post-game things I looked forward to doing was deciding where to build my dream home. From all the biomes I'm visited, where do I want to make my aesthetically pleasing home? There's no way I could show you that in this review because I'd be spoiling some really awesome discoveries which you should make for yourself. I suppose I do have the VODs saved on Atratzu, etc. if suddenly there's a surge of interest in my playthrough, but again, I wouldn't suggest spoiling anything about this game. The music is so good too. I'm not a music critic, but I know what I like, and I like Subnautica's official soundtrack. The average accepted time to beat Subnautica is somewhere between 30 to 50 hours. My playthrough took me roughly 40 hours, but to be fair, I was also live streaming the whole experience on my Twitch channel, so that might have extended how long I played. You can easily sink so much more time into this game by replaying it. You'll get dropped into the world at a different location, but Subnautica is not procedurally generated. Once you know the key landmarks, you can find your way around pretty easily. I say that, but one of the more humbling discoveries I made while playing Subnautica is just how easy it is to get turned around and lost underwater. There were a few unfortunate drownings from me being overconfident and then getting lost. When I say, once you know the landmarks, I mean more, once you know where the biomes are located, it's easier to know where you're going and what you're doing. But take advantage of crafting beacons and the navigation tools like the compass and pathfinding tool before you get yourself turned around underwater and drown. I've absolutely loved playing Subnautica, and will definitely need to check out Subnautica Below Zero and Subnautica 2. Other than needing to get over a few control scheme quirks, I don't really have anything bad to say about Subnautica. It's not perfect, stuff glitched from time to time. My favorite glitch is when I would find fish swimming inside of my house. But I haven't played a pure exploration, creative builder game like this in many years. 2025 has started off with joining the Helldivers, playing the indie game Bubble Frog, and streaming Subnautica on Twitch. That's a solid start. If you'd like to be part of future streams, you should check out my Twitch channel. We like to have fun over there, but I'm still learning how to be a better Twitch streamer. Special thanks to Galder for gifting me this wonderful game and jump-starting me streaming again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Unless you subscribe, comment, and like, that's okay too. If you don't, a sea monster will show up at your house tonight. I'm Atratzu, and as always, see you in the next review. Take care. Don't forget air. See you at the fair. Now get out of my hair. Go over there. You see that guy in his underwear? I think he's a bear.